Happy Facebook Live Wednesday. Today's topic is very controversial and very just powerful. It is a topic that I've been asked probably by 99% of the parents whom I work with, 25 years of being an educator, and we all want to know, why are kids lazy? How do we motivate them? And why are they not doing what they're supposed to do, right? Why? Why don't they just listen? Why don't they just fill in the blank? Well, if you are criticizing your kids, putting pressure on your kids, and giving them negative consequences, and I'm not against consequences, but depending on where your child's mindset is, pressure causes procrastination. Did you hear that? Pressure causes procrastination. Yelling will not work. You can yell, and I've done that. You cannot force a child to care, right, more than you do. There's something wrong with the big picture if you are caring more about your child's grades than they are. I mean, it sounds really like, what? But they should care. They need to care. But can you force them to care? So where is this all? I mean, where do we start, right? Well, laziness, actually, there's a deeper emotional thing that's going on when a child is lazy. Are they bored? Do they not like the teacher? Do they not like the subject? Do they have this hatred towards academics? Because think about it. If you have been lectured about academics, about grades, about the importance of grades, about the importance of studying. Hey, Valerie. Thanks for joining. We're talking about how to motivate kids and why are kids lazy. I have news for you. Kids are not lazy per se. They aren't, they're not dumb. They're not lazy. Why are they lacking motivation? Why are they not listening? It really boils down to their beliefs, their thoughts, which affect their emotions, which affect their behavior. That must sound convoluted and like, what are you saying? But if you believe that education is just stupid, especially this distance learning, if your thoughts are constantly, right, your child is thinking, oh no, it's distance learning, I have to be one of many squares, or I have to just deal with subjects that I think are not valuable, right? What is the purpose of writing an essay? What is the purpose of learning about things that I don't care about, right? That's their mindset. Do they see the value of education? They don't. A lot of my students say, I don't think we should need, any homework. And that's a controversy. Some schools have stopped giving homework. And then other kids see the value and they're motivated. And either if it's an incentive where it is praise, whether it is monetary, whether it's incentives, or they get to play longer hours of video games. What is that incentive? And when the incentive is taken away, then what kind of adult will they be? Will they be able to self-motivate themselves and feel passionate about work, about raising children, about doing taxes? Oh, it's Terry. Mine feels that projects are a waste of his time. Hey, Alexis and Terry. Yes, I mean, when you think about it, like Terry's son had to make a catapult out of popsicle sticks. And when I talked to him about it, he said, yeah, why? What is the purpose? So I talked to a teacher, my cousin's a teacher, and said, it's not just the project. It's what is happening in those neurons. It's the thought process. It's what the child goes through as they build the catapult. It's critical thinking, right? It's all this stuff, but they're just thinking of, it is boring. I don't want to do it. It's stupid because I'd much rather play video games. I'd much rather do something that you think is a waste of time, but they see value in it. when I had my memory and focus class, I asked these teenagers, one was 14 and one was 16. I said, what is it? Because I don't play video games. And their eyes lit up, just having the opportunity to explain this to me, because they've been told, right? It is a waste of time. How can you play 6 to 8 hours of video games and you can't do an hour of homework? What is up? But instead of criticizing, because when you criticize and you just look down upon what is important to them, then guess what? Mirror image, guys, then they will look at what you think is important and go, yeah, whatever, yeah. They might say the right things. And yes, if you administer really harsh punishment, they will do it, but it's a short-term gain, because after a while rebellion starts hitting in, or they just get tired of doing work they don't want to do. So how do you get kids to be motivated? I mean, I wonder, my dad paid me for my A's, and that was motivation. I've been doing research, and people come with consequences, negative consequences, where I read where you have your child pay $1 for each late assignment. Can you imagine if your kid's 6 to 8 assignments behind, 100 assignments behind? And then negative effects, no shopping, no video games, no, anything that they enjoy, right? Hey, Cool Hand Luke, thanks for watching. But we do have to hold our kid accountable and explain, in the real world, you don't work, you don't get paid. But you also have to remember where your child's mind is. I recently met a 12-year-old, and he just is very, very against academics, to the point where he's punched holes in the wall. Yes, age 12. Police have been called because he's, verbally abusing the mom to the point where she is scared of physical abuse. And, his dad has physically abused him. Divorce happened 8 years ago. And he was like, I am not going to tutor, today's a day off from school. Yesterday was a teacher's work day, so no school. So she was worried. She said she called her sister, she prayed. She wasn't sure how he would react, with a tutor coming. And so he walks in, and I said, hi, I'm on your side. I'm here to help you. And he was kind of quiet. Do you have a tutor? Yes, I have a tutor, and she helps me. So I don't know why I need another tutor. So I just, let him talk. And that's the one thing. Let your child talk. He needs, how we need to vent? Your child needs to vent, but without judgment, right? Give him safe space. Don't roll your eyes. Don't lecture. Really hard to do. I lecture all the time. But be an example of who you want your child to be. If you want your child to respect you, when you say stuff like, I'm the parent, I make the rules, so you know what, it's kind of like just shut up, cooperate, and all will be well, right? That's like your message. And then what will you do? What does your child do? Rebel, roll their eyes, oh, yeah, muttering under the breath, right? So I talked to someone recently who's an energy healer, but she has an autistic child in London, and she herself found out that she was on the spectrum. And what she said really enlightened me about this laziness and procrastination and even rebellion. She said, you know what? You cannot tell my son no. And when you think about it, when any child hears no, their wall comes up and they are on like fight mode, right? They're like, what do you mean? No one wants to be told no. But there's other ways to say no. The message is no, but you're not saying the word no. Can I play 2 hours of video games today? Well, maybe not today. Not today. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. That's not saying that it is going to happen. It's not going to happen. But your child is not on the fight mode. Like, what? I never get to do anything that I want. I've been told that, right? Oh my gosh, I never, ever. And they truly are black and white. They don't realize all the other stuff that you do for them, right? So your problem, though, is not just, and I'm not saying you guys have a problem, but the problem with this communication, motivating, dealing with this laziness, it's not your reaction to their lack of motivation. Listen to this. It's, it's actually, I just said it backwards. It's your reaction to their lack of motivation, not the lack of motivation itself. Because your reaction is what dictates your child's thoughts, beliefs, behavior, right? Because what you say to them, they will react. When they react, their thought process is, you know what? Inside, they might not say it. Some really belligerent kids might say it. And he this boy, 12 years old, swears at her. I mean, punches walls. She makes him, patch the walls up, repair the damage that he does. But his mouth goes off. Every swear word. She is trying her hardest to do the discipline, but there's 8 years since the divorce, whether you're divorced or not, your child's behavior is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. That's a hard one to even contemplate. Wait, my child's behavior is a reflection of me? What? But when you think about it, your child, the child that you gave birth to, or the child that you're raising, the child that you're around, if you are a teacher, an aunt, a grandma, a stepmom, your child can feel what you're feeling. So even if you say, grades don't matter, and I should say this, grades don't matter, just try your best. If you get an F, you get an F. But then I realized I would praise my other daughter whenever she got into Pepperdine, she graduated with honors, and just hearing your mom praise your sister, well, what message is she getting? I'm saying, oh, grades don't matter, but then I'm praising her sister who gets the academic accolades, right? So what's the message? Grades do matter, right? So I'm trying to change my tune. I interviewed both of my daughters, and apparently, I'm forgiving myself because I told both of them I would have raised you very different had I known what I've learned over the years, right? And even the past few months. But I've decided, that conversations are worth more. Hey, Mike. Oh my gosh, it's my Dotson friend from Texas. Conversations, you guys, work better than interrogation. Think about it. If you are taken to the police station, would you rather be interrogated or have a conversation? You're already on guard. So as a parent, in a way, you are the police officer, you are the judge, you are the jury, you are the law. So as soon as you say, hey, let's talk, they're like, about what? Oh no, a lecture's coming. My video games are going to be taken away. Possibly my life will end. With boys, I've learned that I don't have sons, but when you take Wi-Fi away, when you shut off their video game privileges, it's like you're cutting off their oxygen. They're like, oh my gosh, I cannot function. And then their whole motivation is non-existent. What you think is laziness is sometimes depression. Sometimes they just feel like, you know what, if I can't have my video games, then I don't want to do anything. And you know what? You can't make me do anything. And then you get into a power struggle. Whenever there's a power struggle, no one wins. I've tried it. You think I'm the parent and I'm going to take away your phone. Well, I'm going to take away your phone for 1 week. You know what? Make it 2 weeks. I've gone to the point where sometimes it was a month. And then my daughters would have, their exes on their calendar, how many more days till they get their phone back. And I do the whole, it's a privilege. Having a phone, having, whatever it is a privilege. It is not something that's a right to have in your life. And then, what I realized? The lectures do absolutely nothing. And it's wasted breath. It's frustration on your part. Your blood pressure goes up. Your stress level goes up. And then you're really destroying this whatever emotional connection that you have with your child. It is destroyed. But in your mind, you just want the academics done. Hey, Yesenia. Watching from Texas, thank you for joining. Talking about procrastination, laziness. What do you do to motivate your child? Well, unfortunately, it's It's within. When you show interest in academics, your child will show interest. If you make it like, you know what, it's almost like, you better wash those walls and clean that toilet. That's the voice that you're using, right? Just do your work. Why aren't you doing your work? Are you signing on? Are you doing your assignments? And it becomes this judge telling, the criminal, and your child's not a criminal, but if they're not doing their work in a way, in your mind, right, you're like, geez, is he going to become a criminal? Is he going to get fired from a job when he's an adult? Is he going to be lazy? Well, guess what? All of us have that laziness inside of us. Some of us are better disciplined. Some of us are trained like from a young kid, like you need to do this or you're nothing. And then your child, though, if you have an oppositional, defiant child who is a very just like you cannot convince them otherwise, that's a sign of intelligence. That's a sign of, you know what? You can't tell me what to do. I think for myself, and I'm not going to give in to whatever threats you give me. I had a friend took away Wi-Fi, took away, some people take away the door, take away the bed, take away the games. And her son was, you know what? Take effing everything away. I don't care. And then she thought, now what? And this is where I know a lot of you think, oh, this is like marshmallow parenting, or I don't know if I believe that. But if you don't have an emotional connection with your child, and I think you probably know one adult somewhere, and the signs of not being emotionally connected is, child rebelling, a child rolling their eyes. I admit, I was just like, what? I'm emotionally unavailable? And I asked my daughters outright, tell me, was I emotionally unavailable? To me, that was like such a horrible thing. And they said, well, maybe when you worked a lot, maybe when you focused too much on academics rather than like asking us how we were doing. And I thought, wow. So I said, can we repair that? Well, I always say, what do you think I should tell parents? Tell parents that it's not about academics. Mom, sometimes the stress is so overwhelming because we don't want to disappoint our parents. We don't want to look stupid, incompetent. And as Chelsea says, we don't want to waste like your money or your energy and time and just be embarrassed. Be embarrassed and disappointed and angry. Even the boys that I interviewed, they said, you know what? Not interviewed, but they were in my memory class. And they said, you can take away my video games, but you know what really hurts? I was like, what? Disappointing my mom really hurts. I thought, more than video games? And they paused. I'm like, yeah. So I said, does it matter if your parent, your mom is, mad at you? Yeah, but I don't show it. They don't show it. Because they want to be, this very strong pillar of strength kind of thing. But your kid is a kid, whether they are 3 or 23. My older one said, Mom, I'm 24, but sometimes I feel like I'm 12. And I said, I'm 56, and sometimes I think I'm a 12-year-old parenting or coaching parents. And then she's so nice. She goes, Mom, you're relatable. You're doing a good job. And our behavior does not define your value as a parent. And I was like, I'm going to quote that. Your child's behavior, your child's failing grades or missing assignments or even sassiness is not a reflection of your value as a parent. We have to say that as a mantra. We are valuable. We are doing an amazing job. We are like lovable. Some of us, I think, feel such frustration that we start hating ourselves. And guess what? Your kids feel that. And in turn, they learn to hate themselves. I just asked someone, I don't know why my kids are so self-critical. And she said, are you self-critical? Your children know that. How can they have confidence when I don't have confidence? How can your child be interested in academics when you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. The work is stupid. I hate this distance learning thing. You guys are going to fall behind. School is just horrible. especially education and the new normal. I'm calling it the new abnormal. Education has always been criticized, the Common Core. I mean, the old style versus the new style. We've always had some complaints, controversy, right? Just disdain for academics. No one says, yes, I can't wait till Monday I get to go to school. No. And now my 8th graders are saying, oh no, I have to go to high school. So you turn it around and you just make education exciting and interested. How do you do that? If you want your child motivated and not being lazy, it does require participation on your part. And I know a lot of parents like, you know what? I'm not an educator. I'm not telling you to be an educator. It's a teacher's job. It's not my job. I have too much on my plate. But you know what? You do have time to just sit with your child, listen to what they're going through. Chelsea used to tell me, we're learning about, I don't know, medieval times or about China or, just all different types of topics regarding science, regarding things that I wasn't interested in. And all it took for her to get interested is me saying, wow. And then what else did you learn? I didn't know that. And of course she thinks, you didn't know that? Aren't you a teacher for like over a quarter of a century? Yeah, but I didn't know that. Really? Yeah, tell me more. Tell me more. And just being there without criticism, without lecturing, and without like this negative feeling that academics is just like, ugh, then your kids are going to think, ugh, I hate academics. My mom hates academics. My mom hates distance learning. I have to admit, seen a lot of progress through distance learning. I know you probably haven't heard that. You know why? During this virtual, I think it's hard when there's like a zillion squares, but when I do virtual tutoring, and this is even with a 5-year-old, their eyes light up. They crave that interaction, that one-on-one interaction. And you guys, it does not have to be academic. You don't have to be researching with them, but just be there for them. Listen to them complain about their homework, but don't say, oh my gosh, your teacher sounds really idiotic, or what? You're learning, well, that seems useless, or, whatever criticism that you have, your child, your nephew, your niece, your grandchildren, they're soaking this up, and then they in turn will hate academics. They in turn will not believe in distance learning. And people have had, degrees. If you're in the military, you sometimes do get your bachelor's online, your master's online. I mean, because of the distance, right? So distance learning can be, I'm not saying it's the way to educate, but it could be the new way to learn. I mean, I've learned so much just researching, right? I was telling my students, Google is your best friend, but don't plagiarize, right? Research and just look at it as fun. And when your energy is with your child and you change, I have 3 things, okay? Sorry, I went overboard again, but this is such a passionate subject of mine. I know I always say that, but just raising kids in general, change your habits. Change your child's habits. Yes, Alexa said, daily connection helps so much when my son expresses hating school. And you just have to be there to listen. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to, lecture about it and say, you know what? Yeah, but you have to do it. Just suck it up and you have to do it because you have no choice. Do you want to graduate? Do you want to get into a good school? Do you want to get a good job? Just stop that. I've done that. I've done you need to do it because that's life. You know what the message you're sending is? Life sucks and yeah, you have nothing to look forward to. Tell that to a child who is just beginning. If you have a high school senior who is stressed out, you have a 6th grader going into, like just the middle school years. They think far ahead and you don't have to figure it out now. Your child just needs comfort, connection, and just unconditional love today. So I invite you today, right? Change your child's environment, even if it's so much as changing the placement of his desk, maybe, his schedule. Maybe he needs to wake up and do like a 5 minute. I've been doing this 5 minute work from hell, but it's like a workout. It's a 5 minute belly fat exercise. It's supposed to tone you. And it's really hard. But 1 or 2 minutes of like deep breathing, jogging into place. I've had kids like do jumping jacks virtually, when they're doing this, or I know that their attention is elsewhere. 2 minutes, jumping jacks, sit-ups, running in place. They don't even have to leave the house. Once their energy is getting going, right? You just got to get going. Say some affirmations. At first, they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. But if you teach them at a young age, I have a 4-year-old. Our tutoring sessions start with a meditation. We deep breathe, we blow out a candle, and then you teach them to love learning and to change your mindset about learning, because learning is the basis of growth, right? Mental growth, emotional growth, even physical growth. Learn what exercises help whatever parts of your muscles. A lot of the PE classes that are done virtually. Hey, Daniel. Thanks for watching. Change your environment, change your schedule, and your personal incentives. Maybe if your kid's rebelling and not being motivated, I would tone down I'm going to take video games away. I am going to make your life hell, because your child can be accountable. I am all for consequences though, but it's the way that you administer them and make it a process where they are part of it. I mean, you'd be surprised. I've had kids and I asked them, well, maybe I could have like no video games for 1 week, and then I would have to incorporate their beliefs, their thoughts, their opinions, so that it's not something that is like you're not the judge, and saying this is going to happen. You are saying, you know what? I want to help you be motivated. Do you care? If they say no, then, why don't you care? And what would make you care? Have a conversation without, the interrogation is like you really sound like you're pissed off and your child is already, that wall comes up. So last 3 suggestions, find the truth, right? How do you find the truth? Ask. Initiate a conversation without judgment. Lighten up. Lighten up, guys. Grades are not everything. Suicide rates in, I think it was at Cook County. Someone was just telling me they had almost 19 suicides, children, young as 8 years old, through high school. This is happening because of mental health issues, the stress over academics, the stress and anxiety of lack of socializing. This pandemic has really damaged our psyche and the way that we process, because we've never had to go through this. But to choose death versus just hanging in there, I mean, it's so emotional, and it's up to us as parents. I've owned it. I've tried to take my life when I was 30, once when I was 18, all unsuccessful. But that thought, those people believe that there is no hope. All you need to do to instill motivation and not get them to feel lazy is don't call them lazy. Don't say you just gotta do it. You want to do it or be a failure. A lot of the parents that I hear, they're like, we do not do B's in this house. Or we just do it, right? Or else. You don't have to give a consequence. It's just saying or else. That's like scary, because they don't know what or else is. So clear consequences. If you're going to give the consequences, positive incentives. Find out what your child wants. And it doesn't have to be money related. Quality time. Going to the beach. My daughter just wanted to go on a family walk with our cat in the stroller and our 2 dogs. She just wanted me to watch a movie. Last night it was a Disney movie on some kind of magical power. These children with magical powers who had to go to school to learn their magic. And I thought, you know what? this is kind of related to parents, that we need to really find the magic within us. I know it sounds very woo-woo, but we all have it inside. Your child who's lazy does not see the magic in them. And it's up to us as parents to nurture that magic, nurture that confidence, and let them know that they are perfect exactly the way they are, with the F's, with the grades, with the missing assignments. And then you further that, right? And before you know it, when they feel emotionally connected with you, they will care about school. They will find a way to find education enlightening and just something that they want to do. I see the kids, like, why do you do it? I don't know, because I want to. I know that it's going to make my brain grow. Is that a reason? I'm like, it's really interesting to talk to the students who automatically get A's. They wouldn't even think of not missing assignment. And then the other end of the spectrum where kids are like, I'm not going to do it. You can't make me do it. I'll take the F, right? Interesting the way our brains work. So take action, right? What's that action? Be careful in this step, because you don't want to take action and say, you know what? You better fill in the blank. Connect with them. Have a conversation with them. And it's all with it. Your children's behavior is a reflection of you. So ask yourself, wait, how is my children? Why is my children, why are they doing that? What's going on in you? And I'm going to end with that. What is going on with us? Because our children are mirroring what's going on within us. Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it stress? They're sponges. They are soaking in what we feel. Thanks for watching, guys. And my book is coming out soon. It is done being edited by the publisher, 100 Parenting Tips Inspired by the Pandemic. And I will see you next Wednesday. I'll be doing my Instagram live parenting tips. I only have like 8 more to do, so I'm excited. Thanks, guys. Bye.